Hey guys, I'm going to show you the steps for bringing your 5 Keith Haring style human figure light paintings into Photoshop and combining them into a photo collage and then adding a gradient, a color gradient on top. So first thing you're going to want to do in open Adobe Photoshop and open a new canvas. So go up to File along the top, New. And let's set it to 16 by 20. It really doesn't matter which one's which. The way I have it right now, it's going to be taller rather than wide. So if you want it to be, portrait format, then you can stick with what I have. If you want it to be landscape, you can switch it. Okay, so whatever you choose, whatever you prefer. Also, I want you to pick a background color as black and have your resolution at 300 and create. Next thing I'm going to do is go to File, Open, and open my first image that hopefully you have on your desktop or in your folder. File, Open. And I'm going to open my first one. All right, so now I want to cut out all this extra stuff, all the background that doesn't really matter, and I also want to try to avoid some of this blue flooring if you have it. So I'm going to go to the lasso tool here. If I long click on it, you'll see polygonal lasso and magnetic lasso. I just want to have this regular one. And I'm going to draw around the figures, leaving a little bit of just like the black background included. Once I get down here, I'm actually going to be I'm going to just cut off the feet because they're not included in the light painting anyways, and I want to avoid this blue flooring area. And I can fix those little ankle breaks in the light later. Okay, so you should see marching ants. Right now, if I push delete, it would actually delete the figures and not the background. So I need to select the inverse of this. So I'm going to go up to the menu up top and click on select. And I'm going to select inverse here. Okay, so now I should be able to, ooh, I forgot to do something. If I push delete, it's not going to work because my background is locked. I need to double click on this to unlock it. And I can just name it layer 0, that's fine. Okay, so now I should be able to push delete, and I have just the figures and the background's been deleted. Okay, you can see the marching ants are still activated around the figures, so I can either do Command D to deselect, or I can go back up to the select menu and click on deselect. So those ants should go away. All right, so I'm going to get out of my lasso tool and select the move tool here. And I am going to do what we did with the last project where we were bringing photos into a blank canvas by selecting the figures, hovering up over the untitled tab, and then dropping it. Okay, so you can see they're really small. Also, show transform controls is selected, so you can also see the corners. And you can also see that this photo has opened as layer 1. And I'm going to resize this. So hold shift so that it doesn't get like funky and stretched. I'm going to Command Z that to go back. I'm going to hold down the shift button and then I'm going to resize. You can see it's getting pixelated, but as soon as I click the check mark or press return, it should be fine. There we go. Notice that I also can hover around one of the corner pegs here and get that little rounded arrow, and that's where I can rotate. So I really don't know where I want this yet, so I'm just going to place it right up here. I am going to Command plus sign, actually check mark here, or enter. I'm going to Command plus to zoom in. I'm going to space bar and drag. And do you notice like you can sort of see the outline here. There's a couple things that you can do to get rid of that if it's distracting or noticeable. It really wasn't noticeable. I'm going to Command minus. You really can't see it, but if it's distracting to you, or if you can see yours, zoom in, Command plus, space bar and drag. You can up the contrast. So what I want you to do is go to Image. We need to select it. Okay. Image, Adjustments, Brightness, Contrast. Please check Use Legacy, and then bring your contrast up until it's kind of disappeared. You can see when I bring it down, it really starts to show more. Bring it up until it's disappeared completely. But you also want to make sure that, you know, if you bring it up too high, it's going to start messing with your light. So pay attention. You want to find that sweet spot where the kind of weird outline that you cut out goes away, but your lighting from your light painting is still good to go. So I'm happy with that, and I'll press OK. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out, Command minus, and I'm going to start to bring in my next one. So I can actually get rid of this one now. Don't save, I don't need that. And I'm going to, again, go to File, Open. I'm going to bring in my second light painting. Do this guy. Open. And I'm just going to run through the same exact thing. I need to use my lasso tool to trace around it. Trying to avoid, oopsies, I'm going to cut off these feet because they're not included anyways, and I'm also avoiding that blue area. Select inverse is also, well, the shortcut's a little bit more complicated, so I just recommend going up to select inverse. Make sure that your background is unlocked, and then delete. Okay, I'm going to Command D for deselect, and again, oops, go to the move tool, move it up, hover, and drop it in. Okay. Again, I'm going to resize by holding Shift. I'm trying to make them about the same size, more or less. And then hit the check mark. All right, so now I want to start thinking about like how I can sort of fit them like a puzzle. I also can see right here that I'm seeing this outline, so I can go in and image adjustments and up the contrast again, just same old thing. But I want to figure out how I want this to fit. Right now I actually kind of like that. I like how the head fits right in between the legs. But I'm not really too worried about it yet because there's some things I need to do. Obviously I need to mess with the layers, and I also have a lot more to bring in before I really figure out how they fit. So I suggest going ahead and bringing in all of your 5 images. And duplicating, I'm going to show you that as well, but you can, if you want more than 5, you can duplicate and you can mirror image them as well. So I'm going to stop there. I want you to go ahead and get all of your 5 or more images pulled into your black background.